Hi, everyone. So, thank you for joining us today at the Sleep Well blog. I'm Cheryl Guloy, and I'm here with Menaka Rao. And she is a self love and personal development coach who will be talking about anxiety and how to overcome it. And I think this is really important and timely right now. Actually, it's an important topic regardless of whether it's COVID 19 or not. But right now, I can tell you that where I am, we're already in lockdown, in fact, but tomorrow it's quite possible we'll be under curfew. So I know that, there is a lot of anxiety where I am, and I'm sure where all of you are as well. And we've seen an uptick in people's having more difficulty sleeping. And so, I thought that it would be great to have Menaka come and share some of her tips with us. And she also has a special presentation, right? And so, without further ado, hi, Menaka. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hi, Cheryl. Thanks for that lovely introduction. It's great to be here and to be able to help people calm their anxiety.
You're welcome, and thank you. And, before we get started on the presentation, it would be great to know, I think, for our viewers, they probably want to know how you got into anxiety coaching or coaching people through anxiety. So, could you just share your story with us?
Yeah, of course. So, thing is that I myself had anxiety, and it was mostly social anxiety that came from a place of a lack of self-worth, and it was all because of various factors like an overprotective and conservative environment that I grew up in, and some negative beliefs like I'm not good enough, I don't have anything good to offer, or that I would say something embarrassing. So, whenever there were any social situations like a job interview or public speaking, I would have major anxiety. It actually got to a point when I would fear passing out, feel nauseous, experience shakiness, brain fogs, and even sleepless nights. I thought it would get better with time, but no, I was wrong. So that was when I decided to do something about it because personal growth cannot be automatic, it has to be intentional. And as I started delving deeper into personal development, getting into the root cause of what is going on, what is causing all these feelings, I also realized how important self love is and how it actually fuels your personal growth. Because without self love, and when you're constantly putting yourself down, you cannot truly achieve the personal growth that you desire. So, since I was able to calm my anxiety and overcome it with a lot of self love and personal development strategies, it has now been my purpose to help others achieve what I could.
That's great, Manaka. It's really good to hear your story because I think it's something that a lot of people can actually relate to, especially when you were talking about job interviews, when you're talking about giving a presentation. I know that these are things that we do, or even in terms of social anxiety when you go to a party, and for some people it's not the most comfortable thing in the world to go there, and for some people they do reach this level of anxiety. So I'm also wondering the techniques that you're teaching today that will for sure help people who have anxiety, but it will also help people who maybe don't have anxiety to that degree, but who are experiencing anxiety right now, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. It's a
Yeah, so anxiety is like, even I used to term it as just being shy or just being nervous, but it goes beyond that. When it starts spanning to various situations, that it hinders you from performing your normal life functions, or some symptoms like sleepless nights. So that was when I thought it is getting out of hand. And that is the thing that many people go through, and they tend to go unnoticed or they tend to avoid those triggers, which is not the way to go. So you'll have to treat it from its roots, get to the root cause of it. So, yeah, this becomes very important in going about your life, even.
Yes, exactly. There's a really interesting relationship also between anxiety and sleep.
Yeah.
So, in the sense that anxiety influences sleep in the way that you can develop insomnia, you know. But at the same time, what we also realized is that if you're sleep deprived, you can actually develop anxiety. So it's like a two-way
Yeah.
street.
Mhm.
So, that's why you're here because you can talk about the anxiety side, and then I work on the sleep side. And, this is the great thing about working collaboratively with other health and wellness providers and professionals is that we can definitely, complement each other in terms of the knowledge that we have. And one of the things that I'd really like to do right now is maybe get into the presentation because I believe you prepared something special for us, haven't you?
Yeah, I want to give real good insights into anxiety because many a times it goes unnoticed, untreated, and even pushed away, which is not the way to go. That's the reason I wanted to give an overview and then some framework so you could overcome it.
Perfect.
So I'll be glad to share it with you all. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to share this framework with you and everyone else. So let me go ahead and share my screen now.
Great.
Can you see it?
I
Share it?
can, yes. Looks great.
Okay. So let's get started. So how do you go about actually calming your anxiety? But before that, we need to explore what the symptoms are for anxiety. And like I mentioned earlier, it goes just beyond your shyness or being nervous. So there are a wide range of symptoms from physical to some embarrassing ones to some serious ones. So, first and foremost, like Cheryl would also agree, anxiety can cause trouble sleeping, it can cause nausea, appetite changes, you can worry about passing out, and there'll be extreme fatigue, brain fogs, sweating, to some embarrassing ones like your face turning red in front of people, being terrified to talk on phone, biting nails, getting easily startled, and uncontrollable crying and shaking, stumbling upon your words, to some really serious ones like vision changes, dizziness, and rapid heart rate, tightness in your chest, even. So, again, these are the common symptoms. These are the ones that I just mentioned. And some more serious and scarier symptoms that you could experience with anxiety, like vision changes, blurring of visions, dizziness, derealization, meaning you find yourself detached from your reality that surrounds you, depersonalization, like times when you find yourself observing yourself as a third person. So you feel like you're existing outside of yourself, which is a horrible feeling. And then you can also experience rapid heart rate, tightness in chest, and other symptoms like nausea and extreme fatigue. Yeah, so those are some of the symptoms. When those are the symptoms, what actually causes anxiety would be the next question for us. So there are a number of reasons that would cause anxiety. Like I mentioned, I myself had some environmental issues and other beliefs. So these are some of the other causes that I've listed here, like trauma, major life changes, or some financial stress, even. It can also be due to genetics. So, if it runs in your family, meaning if someone in your family has anxiety, that could also be one of the major causes for you to get anxiety. And some relationship troubles. If you experience some bad relationships or some stress in relationships, it could also cause anxiety. And if you have some health issues that you're finding hard to cope, even that could cause anxiety. Anticipation of a big event, so even that could cause major anxiety for many of us. Side effects from your medicines. There are many medicines, especially neurological ones, that could cause side effects causing you anxiety. And even caffeine could cause anxiety. Did you know that?
Yep. Yeah, that I knew.
Yeah, and most of us cannot live without it, right?
Especially coffee. Yeah, a lot of people can't.
I myself can. And then, yeah, of course, exhaustion and stress. Yeah, having a lot of stress. Later in my life, I did experience a lot of stress related anxiety. So, having all these different and serious symptoms from anxiety, it becomes important to just not avoid those triggers, not just treating symptoms superficially, but actually getting to the root cause of your anxiety will actually help in calming your anxiety in the long run. So, now I want to share with you all a 5 step framework that can actually help in calming your anxiety because I've used this myself and I know it works. That's the reason I want to share it with you all.
Great.
So, the first step would be to acknowledge. The second step would be to recognize and identify the root cause of your anxiety. And the third step would be reassurance that you're safe. The fourth step would be to relax, release, and let go. And the fifth step would be to build your resilience and determination. I'll be getting deeper into these, so don't worry. So, the first step would be to acknowledge what is going on with you. So, you cannot just push away those anxious thoughts and feelings that you're experiencing, but actually acknowledging that you are having anxiety and kind of making friends with them is the first step towards overcoming it. So, the next step would be to recognize and identify. So, it is really helpful if you can dig deeper into the cause of your anxiety, what exactly is causing your anxiety, and identify the problem and the reason for it. So, you can go about finding a solution for that problem. And the third step would be reassurance. So, most commonly, anxiety is caused because of a fight and flight response that your brain sends that you are unsafe in the situation, which causes panic attacks and anxiety. So, it is very helpful to reassure yourself that you are safe in the current moment. Ask yourself if it is really a life threatening issue or something like that, and in most cases it is not. So that way you can just reassure yourself that you are safe, can really help calming your anxiety. So the next step would be to relax, release, and let go. So there are a number of relaxation techniques that you could follow in order to relax, like breathing exercises and even meditation.
Oh, you know what? Would you be able to show us some of your breathing exercises actually? That would be really, I think it would be really good for our viewers or our listeners to know about. Yeah.
So I could show you one of the breathing exercises that you could actually use that will really help you relax in times of anxiety.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
It is called box breathing, and any kind of imagery that you could form in front of you would really help while doing this breathing. So, as the name suggests, you could form an imagery of a box or a square. So, how you do this is you breathe in for a count of four, hold your breath for a count of four, and then breathe out for a count of four. and then again hold your breath for a count of 4. So, this technique is normally used by the people at the military and even the Navy SEALs before getting into their special ops missions to really help them calm down and relieve their anxiety. There's also another grounding technique that you could use that is also very effective in times of anxiety. It is called 54321, meaning you just take a deep breath and close your eyes, open your eyes, and then notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel and touch, 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you could taste. This is a very efficient grounding technique that you could try using almost anywhere whenever you're feeling really anxious. And then you could also try labeling your thoughts. So if you're having really anxious and negative thoughts, try labeling them because that will really help in releasing those thoughts. So, if it is any sort of a negative emotion that is causing your anxiety, like a fear of rejection or a fear of judgment, just try labeling it because it will really help in releasing. And how you can work on releasing those negative thoughts and emotions would be by using some mindfulness techniques like guided meditation and even journaling, because journaling can really help in venting out your thoughts and negative feelings. And I actually have a guided meditation for you all that I could share with Cheryl that I personally use, and I have other people use it as well who have seen really good results in reducing their anxiety and calming themselves down. So I'd be glad to share it with you.
I'd really like that. If you could, that would be great.
So the fifth step would be to build your resilience and determination. Just avoiding your triggers and pushing them away is not going to help in overcoming your anxiety. So, like I was mentioning before, in my case, my anxiety symptoms got to a point wherein I would fear passing out, feel nauseous, and even have brain fogs and sleepless nights. And in order to protect myself from those symptoms, I actually started avoiding and withdrawing myself entirely from such situations. So I was really hoping that it would get better with time, but that is really not the way to go. Pushing your triggers away and avoiding those symptoms is not the way to go, is what I learned the hard way and what I really want to emphasize over here.
Right, right. I understand what you mean.
Mhm. So you have to work on building your resilience and determination and work on facing your fears. So if you follow through all these steps, it will help in getting yourself more grounded and will also enable you to face your fears instead of just avoiding or pushing them away. Another thing that could also work would be to constantly remind yourself that you are more capable than you actually think you are. So, in spite of following these steps, if you still need help, I think you should really not hesitate in investing in a coach, because talk therapy can really help you overcome your anxiety, especially talking to a professional who has been through similar situations and who is experienced and has knowledge in handling those situations can really help in getting you the results that you really desire. So, yeah, I would like to wind up with that.
Great.
Hope it was helpful.
It was definitely. And I have to say that it's true. Finding a community also, finding a coach, finding a community of people who are going through similar things really can help as well because you're not alone in the situation. And to find that support, it's very important too. So I know that you have a Facebook group, right? From what I see here, and you have Instagram and YouTube. Can you maybe give us a little bit of insight as to what they'd find in your Facebook group, for instance?
Yes, of course. So yeah, my Facebook group is all about self-love, personal development, and entrepreneurship. I have done a lot of learning and growing in these areas. So I really think it's a time for me to give back and help other people in these areas. So I would love to have you in my group because I'll be doing live trainings, sharing a lot of resources in these areas. So consider this an open invitation to join my group. I'm also on Instagram and I do have a YouTube channel as well where I'm sharing nuggets of information in these areas all the time. So I'd love for you to follow me there and I look forward to interacting with you all. So yeah, it was a pleasure being here, Cheryl. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Menaka, and you're welcome. Also, I guess on my end, I'm glad that you decided to do this with me, and we look forward to hearing more from you at the Sleep Well blog. And so, hopefully, we'll have you again. What do you say?
Yeah, of course. It would be my pleasure.
Great. All right. So there you go, everyone. This is Menaka Rao. Look her up on Facebook. Find her on Instagram. What is that thing they always say on YouTube? Subscribe, comment, or like, right? On
Yeah.
YouTube. She has some great meditation videos as well, I have to say. So, I hope you do find her group and join. And Menaka, you're going to give me the link to your guided meditation so that they can find it.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. I'll be sharing that with you so they can have access to that guided meditation, which can really help in relieving anxiety and falling asleep better.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. And I'll put that in the comments of this post. Okay. Definitely somewhere visible where you can all find it. So you can definitely link up with Menaka. Thank you again for being here. And to everyone out there, have a good night's rest. Sleep well.
Thank you, Cheryl, for having me here, and good night, you all, and sleep well.
Perfect. Great.